I may get a haircut. I might get a haircut. Which is more appropriate? Which is more accurate? Let's talk about these two modals and figure out when and when not to use them today. What's up? You're watching Tito Talks English Mondays, once again with your favorite Tito Miguel, who loves to make English topics easier to understand for both agents and clients. Magandang Monday to all of you. Happy holidays once again. Christmas is just around the corner. I hope you have done your Christmas shopping already. If not, you will want to avoid heavily packed malls, heavily packed grocery queues, so on and so forth. Save yourself the trouble, save yourself the risk. Stay healthy. And if all else fails, you can always order takeout. Now, with that being said, I'm so happy that you guys are here with us once again on another Monday. Some of you may be on Christmas break already from work. Congratulations. And if you're still toiling it out on the office and you still have a couple of days to report to work before you can enjoy that weekend, I salute you. My heart goes out to you. Now, with that being said, earlier on, we asked, which is more appropriate to use, may or might? I may get a haircut. I might get a haircut. I'll never get a haircut. No, I'm just kidding. But I really do need one pretty soon. Actually, right now. So, the question is, when do I use may? When do I use might? Are they interchangeable? Do they mean the same things? But before we get into the technicalities of these two terms, it's best to figure out what exactly they are. Now, may and might come from a group of words, to be specific, verbs, known as modals. Now, modals are very special types of verbs and they technically cannot stand on their own because what modals do is that they express varying degrees of possibility, obligation, and sometimes permission as well. So, they are inserted into sentences to express these ideas and they are combined with other verb phrases to help complete these thoughts. And with that being said, most of the time people get confused about the two of them. When do I use may? When do I use might? Do they mean the same thing? Or are they interchangeable? And the surprising thing about this is that it's not exactly as clear as it should be. But there are rules involved depending on when you use them. So, for the purposes of this discussion, we're going to cover two specific functions of may and might. You can use them in different situations. The first situation is known as expressing probability. You're describing the likelihood or the lowness of likelihood of something to happen. The second thing we'll be talking about is with regards to permission. You're asking for someone's permission if you could do something or not. So let's start with the first one, shall we? Now, when you're talking about expressing possibility, you're talking about the likelihood of something happening or the likelihood of something not happening. You're not exactly sure, so you can't state or you cannot state things as outright facts because they haven't happened yet. And you're merely speculating on what the future holds. Now, there are some cases wherein you misuse may and might. Although they are used for the same purpose, which is to express possibility of something happening, one of them is used for high likelihoods, the other is used for low likelihoods. And you'll be surprised to know, may is used when something is highly probable of happening, especially when it's under your control, and might is used for things that are less likely to happen. Let me give you some examples to clarify that. If you're talking about the possibility of something happening, especially if you feel and you know that it could happen very soon because you're in control, you use may. For example, I may get a haircut because I really, really need one. I may take a leave off from work for the Christmas vacation. I may have that proposal for you by tomorrow morning. Because you're in control of these things happening and because it's highly likely and because you're motivated to make these things happen, you use may. On the other hand, if you want to use might, you're going to be talking about things that are not likely to happen. Most of the time, these are things that are outside of your control or things that depend on a lot of conditions or that depend on a lot of situations to be true in order for them to happen. These are mostly far-fetched ideas. These are mostly jokes. These are sometimes even very conditional statements. I might buy a Jaguar this year if I win the lotto. I might go abroad early next year when we already get the vaccine. I might get promoted if I do my job really well. As you'll notice from these examples, the likelihood of these things happening don't necessarily exactly all depend on you. And they will depend on other factors, meaning they are highly hypothetical. There is a low likelihood of them happening should the status quo maintain. So always remember, if it's likely to happen, you use may. If it's not likely to happen, you use might. And this does happen to be very useful, especially when you're talking to clients about the probability of something happening. You want to be sure that you're using the correct modals to express the proper probability. It helps you convince your customer that their likelihoods are in their favor, or it helps convince your customers that likelihoods are not in their favor, prompting them to buy insurance from you in the first place. Be very careful about that. The next usage you'll want to be careful about is when it comes to asking for permission. Now, I know we're not in grade school anymore, and asking for permission may not be may not be a big issue for you, but it is important to distinguish between the two of them because they still have differences in that regard. Now, when you're asking for permission from someone to do something, especially if you're under their supervision, their control, or their influence, you want to use may as a more common form in more informal discussions. May I go to the bathroom? May I take a few minutes out of this phone call? May I excuse myself from this meeting? I need to take this phone call. That's what you use it for. Now, might is a little bit more on the formal side of things. So if you're feeling extra fancy, you might want to use might. Might I go to the restroom? Might I excuse myself from this meeting? Might I request for a sample of the policy? That kind of fancy. So remember, one's more formal than the other, although one is more commonly used than the other. You're going to want to base it on the formality of the situation, or technically who you're talking to. You want to sound more formal? You use might. If you want to sound more casual, use may. However, you may not want to use can, because can is more of asking for ability. Can you go to the restroom? I don't know. Can you walk? Can I be excused from the meeting? I don't know. Can you walk out of the room? Can you open the door by yourself? So it's more of a question on ability. So you may not want to throw can into the mixture. So always remember, although may and might can be used in the same situations, they will have varying degrees of formality and varying degrees of possibility. Now, I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I did enjoy bringing it to you guys today. Now, before I let you guys go, just a quick announcement. Stay tuned for Friday. I know that is Christmas Day. I have something special in line for you, and it's not going to be our usual Tito Talks non-life insurance topic. It is going to be a little bit more special given the holiday season. So I hope you watch out for that, and I hope to see you next time. Once again, this is your favorite Tito Miguel, always saying, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.